Hello, I'm Russell Brand, this is the Trews. I am the host of the Trews like my father before me and like my son will surely be after me, as the Trews is a hereditary dynasty. I'm of course already satirising the news that Kate is pregnant with a second baby. Subscribe to the Trews. Let's have a look at the BBC's coverage of this event to see how we feel about the monarchy, the birth of a new child, and what does it mean to be subjects of a country.
William was there at a long-planned visit to Oxford today.
William was there. Nicholas Witchell, the reporter's saying it's like he was just standing with a camera, and then by chance a really posh person wandered into shot.
But Catherine couldn't make it, and Kensington Palace realised that it would have to explain the reason for her unexpected absence.
Now we enter into the well-worn news grammar of a royal visit, something that we've watched our whole lives. And let me declare, I come from a normal British family. I've got a tea towel with Diana on it downstairs somewhere. My grandmother, both grandmothers, loved the royal family. I watched that royal wedding when it was on the telly because I was in America. I've been living in America for a few years. I'm sort of, in my little silly daft heart, very pro-royal, but that can't prevent me from thinking about things rationally. Now look at the way that this piece of news is formulated. This is a generally benevolent and positive piece about the royals, but look at the information for yourselves as well as listening to what Nicholas Witchell, royal correspondent, says.
She was pregnant with the couple's second child, the palace said.
As is the custom in these situations, a cute child is selected to give a bouquet of flowers to the royal, and the royal has to sort of stoop patronisingly in to the ordinary child. Hello, ordinary child. How are you getting on? Not very well. I was at a food bank before I came here. I can't imagine what you mean, food bank. Aren't banks for keeping money in with my family's face all over it? So, could I have a single coin? Thanks for the flowers,
the palace said, but suffering from acute sickness.
As a normal person, doesn't it offend you that your fellow normal people have to be put in a sort of human paddock? They have to be in a sort of, right, if you want to look at the royals, you'll stand there behind the railing. Oh, okay, we'll stand here. Oh, there goes the royal, look, here he is. People are just willing to stand in a paddock because of really posh persons walking past. Get in your paddock. The posh person's about to walk past. You don't think that you could be trusted to wander freely on the same terra firma as a royal? Get in your paddock.
So William was asked, how was she feeling?
She's feeling okay, thanks.
This is interesting here because none of us can deny the humanity of William, a young man who's been very well educated, has served, I imagine, under excruciatingly safe conditions in the army, and he's nice, he's personable, right? He's not an unattractive man, but listen to him here on the basic level of a human being talking about, like, here he occupies the difficult territory of trying to normalise his extraordinary circumstances, the end of a long line reaching back. I think like the Habsburgs are involved, a few generations back. They're all German, of course, aren't they? Saxe-Gotha is the real name of the royals. They changed their name because it seems we keep having wars with Germany and you can't have the Saxe-Gothas in Buckingham Palace, because people think, hey, why are all of our kids going to fight the Germans and like we're doing it for these Germans? These aren't the Saxe-Gothas, these are the Windsors. You love the Windsors. Okay. So like, look at William trying to be a normal guy.
It's been a tricky few days, week or so, but obviously we're immensely thrilled. It's great news. Early days, but I'm hoping things settle down and she feels a bit better.
Very much get the impression of a man reciting platitudes, thrilled, early days, tricky time. Then the PR kicks in. Oh, right, this is just a sort of a normal quotidian event. This is presenting me as a normal father. And of course, we're at the moment, the zeitgeist is Syria, Iraq, ISIS, Ukrainian crisis, inequality, Scottish independence, and William's PR training kicks in now.
But it's important that we all focus on the big news and the big international and domestic things that are going on at the moment.
Firstly, he clapped the big international events, like Syria and ISIS. Looking forward to get home, watch a little bit of that. I remember when it was only us that used to behead people.
So that's where my sort of thoughts are at the moment. I'm going to go back and look after her now.
Well, are you going to do something about the big events today, or are you just going to go home and watch countless minions fuss over your vaguely nauseous missus? It's the latter.
George was a summer baby, born in July last year.
This is weird. George was a summer baby. Now this is where we get a glimpse of what monarchy's about. totemism, a symbolic figure around which we can identify. We are English, this is the Queen of England, she is God's anointed being. It's totemism, it's a symbolic figure that represents our national identity. This land mass is called temporarily, and not for long, it doesn't look like Britain, and this is our monarch, our ruler, and this is what represents our closeness, our proximity to God. So it's like talking about the seasons in which George was born and the season in which the sibling will be born is what connects us. Now, there are many arguments for not having a monarchy. A lot of them sort of like centre on the enormous cost of having one. It's the official figures are 40 million. It costs us 40 million a year to have royals, but if you include security and all their hosting that they do, and why wouldn't you? Because they do that. It's 200 million. Like, you might know that's the equivalent of having 9,000 nurses and 8,000 police. Seems like an odd economic system to employ. That's the thing that I can't get over. If we were starting from scratch right now, and so, like, we were like, right, we're going to build a society, and someone went, let's have a little old lady that each of us give some of our money to, and then they're really rich, they don't really have any responsibility, they live in a big palace. You'd go, why? What's the point in doing that? That's what's happened. So when you sort of say, like, you know, like, I in my heart still like the monarchy, like, you know, I like the monarchy, but I've got to be more rational now. This is the time for change. This is the time for awakening. When you say, I want the royal family, what you're saying is, I don't want 9,000 nurses. I've been to an NHS hospital, and it's definitely, when you're in there, when you're in the leukemia ward with the kids with leukemia, I think, get me a little old lady somewhere in London gorging herself on generations of privilege. Get me that now. Well, you could get some medicine for this kid. I said an old lady in a shiny hat.
The chances are that his younger brother or sister will be due in the spring, perhaps next April or May.
Yeah, like any baby. That's how it works, time. It'll be born after 9 months, all right? Don't know. Perhaps it'll be April or May. Who knows? Perhaps it'll be a fruitful day and the blossoms will be a-tumbling. Don't mystify it. It's just a person's going to get born, another person to ensconce the inherent privilege and hierarchies of the country that we live in. No wonder Scotland want to go. See, look, I like it. I like the spectacle, but I know you can't have a symbol that enforces and endorses privilege, pure privilege. Just like, just as soon as you're born, well, we've got this person who's never done anything and they're better than anyone. It's sort of like really posh, expensive Big Brother. You know, I mean, we all like the soap opera. Oh, that one's done that one ate a goldfish, that one dressed up as a Nazi. They're all Prince Harry, all of those ones. Oh, that one's choked on a fish bone. Yeah, it's just like, I understand it as entertainment, but the problem is the underlying narrative is you're not as good as them, and it's okay for some people to be in privilege while other people are starving in a Western, modern, technologically advanced democracy. That's the real story, not this one's cute and that one's dopey.
He or she will automatically become fourth in line to the throne, fulfilling William and Catherine's obligation to ensure that the line of succession is secure.
That's a bit Illuminati, fulfilling their obligation.
I don't think there's never a strategy. I think George will be over the moon. He'll be thrilled having another smaller, younger brother, sister. So yeah, we'll wait and see. The family continues to grow.
And of course, with that growing family, your prospects of becoming king reduced, don't they?
Great.
Harry is no doubt the most sort of human of them, or at least he seems like it. Like, oh, I can imagine having a drink with him, mostly because he seems, generally speaking, to be pissed out of his nut. But that's, again, not a distraction from, don't get distracted from the core issue. I keep getting distracted. Oh, no, he's nice. Look at his eyes. He's sort of sweet. And I've seen him in that uniform. Now I'm vowed a new waxwork of him. Don't get distracted, Russell. This is what means that certain people grow up poor. This is what means that certain people always end up in prison. This is what holds together a system where certain people will end up on drugs, where certain people will never get opportunities. It's held together by this. By removing this symbol, we have an opportunity to be free.
And what of the mother-to-be? Well, in rather less than 2 weeks' time, Catherine is due to make her first solo overseas visit to Malta.
Ooh, a holiday. Well done. On your own.
It hasn't been cancelled. I'm told the situation is being assessed on a day-to-day basis.
Even Nicholas Witchell's been put in a little paddock now. Who could I'm quite pro-royals. Get in your paddock, you scumbag!
Breaking right now, the second royal baby on the way.
News of the pregnancy is making headlines around the world. Another royal baby is on the way. the international fascination with Britain's royal family shows no sign of abating.
Propaganda. Oh, look, around the world, Brits, that's the BBC, which is meant to be an impartial organisation, and that's blatant propaganda. Do a bit about how around the world it's good for Britain, it's good for tourism. That's one of the arguments. Without a royal family, I don't think you'd have tourists. No, it never goes to France, do they? And I still remember they chopped their royal family's heads off. They were pretty brutal on the subject. People still go down the Louvre, don't they? Another thing people say is like, oh, they generate money through tourism. They generate money through their property portfolio that's worth 7 billion. How they ain't got a property portfolio? We'll have that and all. Oh, but you're forgetting their property portfolio, which they earned when they had through a veg store on Covent Garden Market. But nicked that. The whole system is about the enforcement and continued inculcation of privilege. I don't want to be boring about it. Like, I like them. I love a mug. I love a tea towel. Fantastic. But if in America they went, let's everyone give some of our taxes to the Kardashians, as Hamilton Nolan pointed out, we'd go, oh, our crazy cousins across the Atlantic. You know, like, it's ludicrous and laughable and antiquated, and it makes us ridiculous. We are real. This is the world. This is life now. It's important. It matters. Like, I'm with you. I like the royal family. I think they're cute. I wish that baby all the best. I wish that couple all the best. But they should be growing up with the same opportunities as the rest of us. They should be growing up under the same conditions as the rest of us. The resources, the money, the entire institution should be dismantled and the resources shared among other people. If you think the rules are important, make sure that you know that you're also saying, I think it's more important than hospitals, I think it's more important than sharing, I think it's more important than unity and togetherness. It's an old idea and it's time for it to end. That is the Trews.
Nose is a tool that is abused to fool you and to leave you scared and confused. Trews is like the nose. If the nose was true, I want some Trews. Let's have some Trews.